I'm fat and I think I look good. So,
I'm fat and I'm neutral about my body. So,
I'm fat and I feel healthy. So,
I'm fat and I use the word fat and not as a slur. So,
I'm fat and I'm confident. So,
I'm fat and I will ask for a chair that is big enough. So,
I'm Pallavi.
and I'm Ameya, and we're the co-hosts of the Fatphobia, where we talk about the joys and sorrows of being fat women in India. Heavy on the joy.
My journey to reclaiming my life started with body positivity. I started following accounts like Tess Holliday, Adipositivity by Substantia Jones, reading books by Virgie Tova and Reagan Chaston, other movers and shakers. I interacted with the founders of the Plus Size Models India Facebook page, and through them, my photographs were published in the Times of India and The Week in articles that spoke about body positivity. To me, it was really important for me to reclaim my body from the stigma of being called fat, ugly, unattractive. I really wanted to feel beautiful in my body as I am, sexy. And I was craving for that feeling of being a sensual woman, and body positivity gave it to me. It was literally a portal of me stepping into another reality.
To be honest, I've never really understood the body positivity movement. For one thing, asking someone to forcibly be positive about something is a little obnoxious. And for another, if you're constantly positive about a negative thing, then you're basically in denial about it. And if you're in denial about it, how can you fix it? Right? How can you fix something that you don't accept is a thing? I understand not dwelling on the negative, but that kind of only works for neurotypical people. People who don't have mental illnesses, people who have not experienced trauma. And let's face the facts, there are very few fat people who fall into that category. So yeah, body positivity just never worked for me somehow. I would just sort of sneer and roll my eyes at people who were saying being positive, and I would just growl and snarl at people who were being negative to me about my body. Unfortunately, this meant that I did not give myself space to acknowledge how I really felt about my body. I mean, I didn't really love it, and frankly, I used to fantasize about slicing off my tummy or slicing off my thighs. That is not healthy. Meeting Pallavi and doing this podcast has definitely made me become a little more positive about positivity. There's definitely no harm in something that questions the horrific and unnatural beauty standards that are imposed on us everywhere. But I'm a long way off from getting on the whole I love my body train.
Body positivity in itself wasn't enough for me. For one, there were a whole lot of people with thick privilege who were also talking about body positivity. And while I understand that fat phobia affects us all, the point is it felt unfair because they don't experience the exclusion that I feel in my body. Second, there was the thing about my health. So everybody would say to me that it was all well and good that I felt confident in my body, but wasn't I aware that I was this ticking time bomb that would drop dead at any moment? And where would my positivity go then? I had just participated in the Walk of Hope, walking 2,500 kilometers over 100 days, and sometimes at the same pace as the other walkers. I also noticed over the period of the walk, everyone, including myself, first lost weight and then gained it back. And we were walking at the same pace and eating the same simple food. So I had to ask myself what was going on. Which is when I read Linda Bacon's Health at Every Size. And that just changed everything for me. And that was when I started walking on the path to fat liberation.
I read Sophie Hagen's amazing book, Happy Fat. Read it, guys, read it. And something just clicked. You see, because Sophie talks about neither loving nor hating your body. She talks about being body neutral. And it hit me. That is how I feel about my body. My body is important. And I use it for many things. And when I'm not disconnected from it, when I'm not thinking of it as a burden that I need to carry around almost like a sack of potatoes, then I can feel it respond to me and brim with strength. And so I looked further at these things and I discovered fat liberation. Now that is something I can get on board with. Before you think that fat liberation means freedom from being fat, no, it means freedom from being subjected to fat phobia and fat stigma in your everyday life. Fat liberation says that instead of constantly having to fight the trauma and rejection that you are given by a fat phobic society, and then on top of that finding the mental and emotional reserves to push back and assert your own value and tell yourself you have value, what you should do is be angry with the whole structure that says you are less worthy because you're fat in the first place. The radical truth about fat liberation is that it's not your job to love your body. It is our job as society to collectively dismantle the sexist and capitalist structures that continue to demonize our bodies so they can exploit us and profit from us.
To me, fat liberation means that fat is not a consideration in anything that I do anymore. It means that I will not reject myself in any circumstance because of my weight or my size. And there are so many of us out there now doing amazing things that we've been told fat people cannot do. I believe that my mind, body and spirit is amazing and can be trained and strengthened to do anything that I choose to do it. I truly believe it is an inner choice for me and an inner process that I choose to undertake. I do also wish for a world where I have the same privilege as everyone else. Fitting into airplane seats, toilet stalls, plastic chairs that can deal with my weight. And now I have decided to actually ask for it. No, actually demand it. To me, fat liberation means walking into a store and being able to buy sexy clothes that I like because they're readily available. It means being able to go to a doctor knowing my symptoms will be addressed as they are for a thin person. And while this is going to take some time to change, I choose to want it, to see if I can make it happen in any capacity. And if nothing else, be one of the many voices that are asking for this as a right, because we are entitled to it. It isn't simple, because fat phobia is deeply entrenched in society and our structures, and has been for a couple of centuries. An added layer is the fact that people think that you have control over this, and then they make it worse by talking to you about how you need to lose weight as a way of feeling concerned for you. Our stuff is hanging out there for everyone to see and take a piss on, and that's painful. However, in our little ways, we're living our lives with a mind that is fat liberated, and that makes a difference. Through our podcast, the content we share on social media, these videos, and our workshops, we're trying to light more flames like us. We hope you engage with us so we can hand in hand create a fat liberated world.
I don't know if I've been able to convey the importance of this movement and why we must all join it right now, all of us thin, fat, in the middle, both sides. And if you still can't see why forcing someone to lose weight or depriving people of nutrition or negatively impacting their mental health is not okay, consider this. Is the solution to the continuous harassment of women locking all the women up? Will that make it go away? No, because we've been doing that for years, and honey, don't make a damn bit of difference. We have to change the system because it's the same thing, baby. It's really important to understand that fat phobia is so deeply ingrained in all of us and all of our systems in society that people are spitting venom and hatred in the comments on the silly reels that Pallavi and I make just because they are so uncomfortable with the fact that we are okay with our bodies. And I might sound all empowered and all that, but let me tell you, I was raised in the same fat phobic society and I have internalized the same bullshit. So it's a lot of hard work and it's an attempt to raise awareness, and that's actually why we do this podcast and we're doing these videos and stuff like that, because we want to have this conversation about the problematic approach that society has to being fat.
In case you don't already know, we are at Fatso Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We have a blog on Medium. We have a newsletter, fatsopodcast.substack.com, and a website, of course. You can write into us at fatsopodcast@gmail.com and definitely check out the workshops we're doing.
And the website is fatsopodcast.com.